our leader, the party leader of ODM, Oburu Oginga, governors present, senators present, members of parliament, both from Kenya and from Yala. I have a written statement, just like Daktari Oburu. Allow me to read half of it, and then I will speak the rest. It is good to be back here at the Kenyatta International Conference Center, the birthplace of the Memorandum of Understanding between Kenya Kwanza UDA and ODM. Exactly 1 year and 3 days ago, my brother, the late Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and I agreed to work together in the national interest for the benefit of our country. Although our brother Raila is no longer with us physically, his wisdom, foresight, and enduring commitment to the nation continues to guide our shared journey ahead. The values we stood for, dialogue, unity, and the pursuit of justice and progress for all Kenyans, remains firmly alive. I am encouraged that the ODM party, now under the leadership of Dr. Oburu Oginga, remains steadfast in upholding the principles Raila Odinga stood for. Together, we honor Raila's legacy through our continued commitment to the ideals he championed for the unity and advancement of our country. Our coming together 1 year ago was guided by one overriding objective: to stabilize our country and to address long-standing socio-economic and political challenges. For too long, our politics had been consumed and trapped by division, tribal competition, and regional rivalry instead of focusing on the real issues affecting the lives of all Kenyans equally. Together, we resolved to change that. Today's joint parliamentary group meeting between the two parties is therefore significant, not only because it reflects the spirit of that agreement, but also because of the responsibility we carry as leaders to deliver on commitments made to the people of Kenya. We had planned to mark the first anniversary of the signing of the MOU on the 7th of March by assessing the progress made in implementing the agreed agenda. However, as you all know, in the days leading up to that date, our nation suffered a tragic loss. We lost a distinguished member of parliament, the late Honorable Johana Ngeno of Emurua Digir, who was a committed member of this parliamentary group and a dedicated servant of the people. Were it not for the fatal helicopter crash, the Honorable Ngeno would have been seated here with us today. May his soul rest in peace. Ladies and gentlemen, the MOU between UDA and ODM was built around a 10-point agenda, drawing largely from the recommendations of the National Dialogue Committee, or commonly known as NADCO. These agenda items address critical national issues, including electoral reforms, the cost of living, governance, and economic stability. Following the signing of the MOU, we immediately began implementing the agreed programs. I am pleased with the report that has been presented here today by the Oversight Committee, highlighting the progress made across the 10 agenda items during the past year. The progress we have made is evident across several areas. Our country today enjoys greater stability, and the partnership has created an environment in which government programs can proceed without unnecessary political disruption. Opportunities for our young people are expanding, with government programs now reaching hundreds of thousands of young people across the nation, through initiatives in housing, health, agriculture, education, the digital and creative economy, as well as the labor mobility programs, we are deliberately expanding new avenues for employment. Allow me, ladies and gentlemen, to paraphrase, because I have been particularly meticulous in trying to find out where we are in the process of implementing the 10-point agenda. And just for the record, the 10-point agenda was not imposed on us. The 10-point agenda was our commitment, voluntary commitment between our parties in respect to the people of Kenya. There are some people who want to appoint themselves supervisors, as if we made the commitment to them. We did not make the commitment to them. We made the commitment to the people of Kenya. And our responsibility and reporting is to the people of Kenya. And let me say the following. We did this and we set the standard very high ourselves because we believe that is what we should do for the people of Kenya. Not because anybody forced us, not because anybody imposed it on us, but it is because it is our commitment that Kenyans deserve a higher standard of leadership and delivery. Has been dispensed with, and today we have a functioning independent electoral and boundaries commission. It has already conducted several by-elections, and as a show of confidence in this broad-based administration, all the parliamentary elections that have been held have been won by broad-based. I said all of them. Yes. Just for good record, and we are not Atusemi. That's what it is. Yeah, those are the facts. In fact, the last by-elections that were held, of the 4 seats that were in contest, broad-based won all of them. Again, for good record. But that is not what I'm trying to say here. I'm trying to say that we are faithful to our commitment. On matters to do with legislation that is there in Parliament, we know there has been back and forth between the two houses. We will be recommending in this PG that we have a broad-based negotiating team. One that is going to sit with both houses of Parliament, comprising membership from both houses of Parliament. Because if broad-based decides, Parliament will decide. Is that true? Yes. Because we have the numbers to drive it through both houses of Parliament. So I want us to raise the standard a bit so that we establish a broad-based negotiating committee or mediation committee to assist us on all the items that have been presented for legislation in Parliament by NADCO. One has already been dispensed with. The matter of NGCDF. The courts have given direction, and therefore the legislation that had been presented to Parliament is now what the lawyers called functors of issue. I mean, it's been dispensed with. So we now need to pick on what the directions court has given to do the rest of the funds. Let me speak specifically to some 6 or 7 critical issues that I have distilled from the report that was presented to us, especially on those 6 or 7 issues. Number 1 is inclusivity, and especially the matter of cost of living. The people of Kenya have spoken with clarity on how they want our country to be much more inclusive, and for us to be able to have a society that leaves nobody behind. We have done 5 issues on this subject of inclusivity and cost of living. Number 1, we now have a policy on the marginalized in Kenya. We have provided bursaries for their children. We have provided many other interventions that will assist minorities, people who are perceived to be marginalized, for them to be brought into the bracket and so that they are not left behind. We have deliberately dealt on matters that finally dictate cost of living. And there are 4 matters that dictate cost of living: cost of food, cost of fuel, because it influences our transport, the cost Kenyans pay for healthcare, and the cost Kenyans pay for their children to go to school. We have addressed all the 5 issues. Number 1, on food inflation, on matters to do with food, we have transformed our agricultural sector. We can confidently stand here and say we did, over the last year or 2 years, we have produced more maize, we have produced more tea, more coffee, more sugarcane, and the whole productivity space has risen. It is the reason why today the prices of unga are different from what they were in 2022. We have made a commitment to that. Number 2, we have managed our economy well. That is why fuel inflation has come down. Cost of fuel was 218 at some point per litre. It has come down by almost 30%. And it is because we have taken deliberate steps to stabilize our currency and to make sure that we don't pay more for fuel because our currency is not behaving. We have done the 3rd thing on matters to do with school fees. You all remember we have undertaken education reform. We've raised the budget for education from 500 billion. This financial year, it was 702 billion. The budget that we're going to read in July is 765 billion. Why are we raising resources on matters education? Because we are putting more money in making sure that every child goes to school. We have not only hired more teachers, because if government does not pay for those teachers, boards of governors pay for them, which means parents pay for them. We've hired more teachers to lift up the burden on parents from paying board of governors teachers. Number 2, we have reduced fees for our university and TVET institutions by between 10 and 40%. The committees on education are here. We have also, as of this week, reduced the fees for our TVET institutions from 105,000 per year to now a standardized 67,000 per year. You heard the Minister for Education announce that this week. It is because we want to make sure that we lift the burden of parents on matters to do with school fees, and that is the standardized fee. And then we will now go in with all the bursaries the counties are given, all the bursaries the NGCDF is giving, and we have signed agreements with counties. You remember the Comptroller of Budget did raise issues on counties supporting bursaries. The Ministry of Education has signed with all the counties. Now, on parents on matters to do with the education of their children. You all know that also we have done lifted a heavy we are actually closing to 30. I think by next week or the week after, 30 million Kenyans will have health insurance. And this week, forget about the propaganda in the headline of the news that we lost, some 50 billion can be lost. You know, people are mad. Billion, it means there will be nothing to pay, no hospital. This week alone, we are paying 16.2 billion shillings, this week alone, for PHC and for SHIF. This week alone. We are paying the highest amounts of money to any hospital that has ever been paid under any other administration or under any other program. That is the reality. That is a fact. So, in terms of cost of living, we are dealing with health to reduce bills paid by citizens. We are dealing with education to reduce bills paid by citizens. We are managing fuel to reduce transport costs. We are dealing with food so that we can reduce the cost of living. So I want members of this PG to work with your heads high. This administration, the administration you have formed, is tackling cost of living head on. And finally, we are making sure that more Kenyans have income. Today, I report to this PG, we have 1.8 million Kenyans who are not working in 2022. Today they are working. 1.8 million. 640,000 in our housing program, 540,000 in export of labor, 300,000 in our digital platform. We have close to 820,000 under our Nyota program. 120,000 of them, we have given them grants. And I have been to those meetings in person. I have met the 120,000 young people myself. Yeah? Many people were trying to give me small lectures. What is the president doing? Going to give out checks to young people. And I told them, this is how I choose to spend my time. You decide about yours. Okay? Because I believe the young people of this country deserve my time. And time spent with those young people, talking to them, is time well spent as far as I'm concerned. And I have asked the Deputy President and the Ministry is concerned to look at opportunities, and we are discussing with our partners to look at opportunities to expand that program. We believe it is a successful program. Many young people have stepped forward, and we believe we can do more and maybe extend that program to close to 2 million young people in Kenya. And in this particular one, we made a deliberate, intentional decision that this is going to be young people between the ages of 18 and 29, because that is where the heaviest load of our young people are. So, cost of living, for those of you who are taking notes, and I suggest you do, because I see some other people, they cannot explain themselves. We've dealt with food inflation. We've dealt with fuel inflation. We have dealt with inflation that comes from Kenyan spending on education. We spend with the transport costs. You don't hear matatus hiking costs because the cost of fuel has gone up. We have dealt with more Kenyans that are working today. That is dealing with cost of living head on. And that is what we are doing together with you guys. Devolution is a principle we committed ourselves to.